So, you want to build a person. Not the old-fashioned way, of course. You want to build one from silicon, steel, and a whole lot of code. You want to create a humanoid robot. It's a noble goal, a Promethean ambition that has captivated engineers for a century. You've assembled the limbs, wired the actuators, and booted up the processor that serves as its brain. Your creation stands, gleaming and perfect, in the sterile environment of your lab. Now, you ask it to perform a simple task. Walk across the room and pick up a coffee cup, and it falls flat on its metallic face. Why? Because your billion-dollar marvel is, for all practical purposes, blind.
Before we proceed, let me tell you one thing. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support.
Oh, it has cameras, the finest high-definition RGB cameras money can buy. It can see the room in glorious 4K, a vibrant tapestry of photons. But it doesn't understand what it's seeing. It perceives the world as you or I would perceive a photograph. A flat, treacherous plane where perspective is a liar and distance is a mystery. To a standard camera, the coffee cup 10 feet away and a sticker of a coffee cup on the wall are maddeningly similar. This is the fundamental crisis of robotic perception. And the solution, or at least our best attempt at one, is the depth sensor. If a normal camera is the robot's eye, the depth sensor is its brutally honest friend, the one who tells it exactly how far away everything is. These sensors don't care about color or texture. They are obsessed with a single question. How far is that thing from me? They are the unsung heroes turning our clumsy automatons into beings that can navigate our world. Let's talk about their magic tricks. One popular method is called time-of-flight or TOF. Imagine your robot is a very, very impatient bat. It shrieks a pulse of invisible infrared light into the room. Then it starts a stopwatch. When the light hits an object, a chair, a wall, your leg, it bounces back. The sensor catches the returning photon and stops the watch. Knowing the speed of light, the robot does a tiny bit of math and calculates the precise distance to that single point. Now, imagine it doing this millions of times per second, spraying the entire room with light. The result is a point cloud, a ghostly 3D replica of the room built from millions of individual distance measurements. It's echolocation, but for a machine. The other main approach is called structured light. This is less like a bat and more like a meticulous fisherman. The robot projects a known pattern of infrared light, like a perfect grid or a series of stripes, onto its surroundings. Is casting a net of light over everything. When this perfect grid hits a 3D object, the pattern deforms. The straight lines of the grid curve over your face, they bend around the coffee cup, they break at the edge of the table. A second camera looks at this distorted pattern. By comparing the bent and broken grid to the perfect one it started with, the robot can use trigonometry to calculate the depth and shape of everything the light touched. It's an ingenious way to turn a 2D distortion into 3D information. So, with these new powers, our robot can finally see the world not as a flat painting, but as a space with dimension. The floor is no longer an abstract concept, but a tangible surface it can place its feet on. That stray cable on the ground is not a dark line in an image, but a genuine three-dimensional tripping hazard. This is the first great leap for a humanoid, walking without falling. When you see a video of a Boston Dynamics robot jogging through a forest or a figure AI android walking smoothly across a lab, you are witnessing the triumph of the depth sensor. It is constantly mapping the terrain just ahead of its feet, identifying stable ground, and adjusting its gait in real time. But walking is just the beginning. What about that coffee cup? To grasp an object, the robot needs more than just its location. It needs to understand its geometry, its orientation, its volume. The point cloud from a depth sensor provides exactly that. The robot can see the curve of the cup's body and the empty space of the handle. It can calculate the precise coordinates in 3D space it needs to send its metallic fingers to. It can differentiate between a delicate champagne flute and a heavy-duty mug, adjusting its grip accordingly. This is the gateway to meaningful interaction with the world. And yet, this is where the story gets complicated. This is where the philosophical arguments begin to rage in the halls of AI labs. Are these depth sensors a brilliant solution, or are they a crutch? Are we teaching our robots to see, or are we just giving them a very fancy walking stick? The argument for depth sensors is one of pragmatism. They provide direct, unambiguous geometric data. There is no guesswork. The sensor says the wall is 3.14 meters away, and so it is. This is computationally cheap and incredibly reliable, especially in poor lighting where a normal camera would be useless. Why would you not give your robot this superpower? Now, here's where the plot thickens and where people like Elon Musk enter the fray. The Tesla bot, Optimus, is being developed with a controversial philosophy: vision only. No LiDAR, no radar, and a deep suspicion of depth sensors. The argument is as elegant as it is terrifyingly difficult. You don't shoot lasers from your forehead. You know a car is a 3D object, and you know that as it gets bigger in your field of view, it is getting closer. The vision-only camp argues that this is the path to true artificial general intelligence. Forcing the AI to learn the physics and geometry of the world from passive vision alone is a much harder problem, but the resulting intelligence would be far more flexible and adaptable. They argue that depth sensors are a shortcut that prevents the AI from ever truly understanding. Bright sunlight can overwhelm a structured light sensor, washing out its projected pattern. A time-of-flight sensor can be confused by reflective surfaces, like a mirror or a puddle, or by materials that absorb light, like black velvet. They add cost, weight, and another potential point of failure. If the goal is to build a robot that operates in our world, shouldn't it learn to perceive the world as we do? On one side, the pragmatists who want a robot that works now, using every tool available. On the other, the purists who are willing to endure a much longer, harder road for what they believe will be a greater prize. Meanwhile, the technology itself refuses to stand still. The next wave of innovation is already crashing on the shore, and it promises to make this debate even more interesting. Researchers are now intensely focused on sensor fusion. Why choose between a depth sensor and an RGB camera? Why not use both and also thermal imaging, and maybe even event-based cameras that only report pixels that change? The future is a robot that builds a single, unified model of reality from a dozen different, imperfect sources. Then there is the quiet revolution of neural radiance fields, or NeRFs. Imagine if, instead of a sparse, ghostly point cloud, your robot could use its sensors to build a photorealistic, fully volumetric, navigable 3D model of its surroundings in real time. It wouldn't just have a map of points. It would have a memory of the space so complete it could render a view from a position it never actually stood in. This is what NeRFs allow, and the race is on to make them efficient enough to run on a robot's onboard computer.
So that is it. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Let's continue this conversation in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit the bell icon to get notified, and don't forget to like with your friends, share, and subscribe for more insights. If you have already subscribed, tons of thanks for your support. It means a lot to me. And please consider signing up for membership zone to support Wooden Slate so that we can make it better and better. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye. Take care and stay safe.